Yeah. Hello, everyone. Is my voice audible, guys? Yeah, guys. So, how many of you done till now? Are you guys able to implement this? If you click on sign in, you are able to navigate to home page. And if I click on log out, we are again back to sign in page. But there was one issue here, right? So the issue was like if I'm signing in and if I'm in the products page, and again if I'm clicking on log out, then I'm navigating to sign in. But if you see, this path is not changing. So we have to change this path. If this path doesn't change, again, if I click sign in, I will, instead of going to home page, I will navigate to products page only. I will be in the products page. So that is the problem. The problem is if you don't change this URL and next time whenever you sign in, so exactly from where you logged out, you will land on that particular page only. Okay. So this problem is right now, if I click on sign in, what should be for? Let's see what is the, let me just open the terminal. I think I have closed it. npm run dev. So anybody is able to solve that? Anybody is able to do this part? If I click on sign in, now I am in the home page. Okay. Now if you see here, path is slash. But the moment I click on products, now I'm in slash products page. Okay. Right now I'm in the products component. But the moment I log out from products component, I am logging out. So I'm back to sign in. But the problem is you are not changing this path. The moment this path is not changed, again, if I try to log in or sign in, then I will land on products page instead of home page. So I'm landing on products page instead of home page. So somehow we have to change this path. So anybody tried this part, guys? Anybody done that? So basically what we have to do is whenever we click on logout, somehow we have to change this path. And how you will be able to change this path? How to change that path? So if I go back to nav component, in that I have that logout button. So whenever you click on this logout button, this function will be called logout function. So here we have this logout function. Now this logout function, in this logout function, right now we are calling dispatch. Okay, here we have to write some code so that we will be able to change that path. Our URL path, we will be able to change it. So how to change it? For that, React Router DOM. React Router DOM is providing us one hook called use navigate. It is providing us one hook called use navigate. So using this hook called use navigate, we can navigate to any path that we want. We can navigate to any path that we want. So how to use this? Use navigate hook. So first step is you have to install this. For first step is you have to import this use navigate hook from React router now. This is a hook, so you can call inside your component. So here I am calling use navigate hook. Whenever you call use navigate hook, it returns one function. It returns one function called navigate. So I can hold that function in a variable. Okay, remember use navigate returns one function. So let me just add the documentation here. So use navigate is a hook of React router DOM package. Okay. Using this hook, we can change the URL path. We can change URL path. So whenever use navigate hook is called, use navigate hook is called, it returns a function, and using that function we can navigate to any path that we want. Using that function we can navigate to any path that we want. So now here whenever you call this hook, this hook is going to return one function. It returns one function. So remember, this is a function. This navigate is a function now. Now what we can do is this navigate function we can call. So whenever I click on logout, I want to call this navigate function. And using this navigate function, I can just add, like I can change my URL path. How to change? To this navigate function, you have to pass your new path to which you want to change. That path you have to add as an argument in a string format. For example, whenever I click on logout, let's assume that I want to change my path to /Sagar. Okay, let's assume that whenever I click on that logout button, I want to change my path. This path I want to change to /Sagar. So what I'm doing here, simply I'm calling that navigate function, and in string format, I am adding the path. So let's try here now. Now let me sign in. Now I'm in the products component. Now if you see the path is /products right now. The moment I click on logout, now see path changed to /Sagar. So using that navigate, you can change path to whatever path you want. But as per our requirement, path should change to just a slash. It should just change to slash. That's it. So now again, if I sign in, now we got page not found because path was /Sagar. Now again, I will click on logout. Now see, path came to slash. Now if I sign in, again, I'm back to home page. If I'm in the products, from here, if I log out, see right now the path is /products. The moment I click on logout, I'm back to slash. Again, if I sign in, I'm back to home page. So how to change? How to change URL path dynamically means you have to use navigate hook. So here I will just add the question, how to change URL path dynamically. So for that, we have to understand use navigate hook. Understood, guys? How to change? Is it clear? Anyone? Any doubts, or if you did not understand, let me know.
Yeah, hello, sir.
Yeah.
So, sir, like in the login page, you given some like create account. So, if you create before a login, if you create click anyone, so either he redirect to login only or home page. So,
Where? Here,
yeah.
create account.
Mm.
If you click on, he will navigate to sign up page. Okay, right now I don't have sign up page, so you will navigate to sign up page.
But sir, in the route page, we configure like if is a login, then we the route to whatever component. Otherwise, always login redirect to the login page.
Yes. So there we can change it later on. Later on, you can change it. Whenever once the sign up pages comes, then you can change it.
Okay.
Okay. So whenever sign up come, I will tell you how to change that part.
Okay, sir.
So note point here, we can change URL path using use navigate hook or using navigate component. So there are two ways to change your URL path. So we can change URL path using use navigate hook or using navigate component. So depending upon scenarios, we have to decide one. So if you are using inside the methods, then go with the hook. If you are trying to change at the component level, then we have to use navigate. Use navigate. So now if you go back to that routing part, or let me go to routes. Now here, sign up page is there or product page is there, for example. Let's assume that you want to use navigate. So here what we are going to do means here we can write some condition. So if something is true, go to products page or else just navigate it to sign in page or login page. So already I have covered this part in video. I have provided one video. So in that you can have a look on this navigate path. There I have implemented this part. To protect your routes, we have used navigate path, navigate component. So you can go through that video again one more time. You will understand how navigate component will be used. Right now we have used this one. Yeah. So how many of you done up to here? Okay. From today, I will not provide this source code to you. So you have to start working on that by understanding. I mean, you have to just listen the class. Whatever you understood, based on that, you start developing it. So I will provide all the source code at the end of this project. So what you guys have to do is, with me, you have to work. And whenever you don't understand something, anyways, recording will be available to you. You have to watch the recording. You have to watch how I have done, and you have to start doing it. So if I provide source code, and if I ask you, have you guys done? Some people will just copy my source code and they will say they have done. Okay. So you don't want that. We want you guys to start developing it. Next, we want to design this products page. So in this products page, what I want to do is I want to display all my products like men's wearing, women's wearing, kids wearing, and if I have some electronics products, all those products I want to display here. So for this, I want my page should be like this. I want a products page. In this products page, I want to divide it into two sections. Here, I want to create some radio buttons. Okay, like all products. Then here, something like men's wearing. So some radio buttons I want to create here. Now here I want to display all my products in the card format. So initially, all products should be displayed in card formats. And here I want to implement filtering feature. So let's assume that we are displaying all products. Then here I have some options like men's or something like clothing. Let's assume that. Here electronics. Now if I check clothing, then we have to show here only clothes products. If I check here electronics, then I have to show only electronic products here. If I check all, then I have to show all the products here. That is my requirement. So right now you can add on dummy data. Later on, whenever I provide API, whenever I provide you different options, you have to replace those options. So in this, you have to go to your products page. Now this product page, I want to divide into two sections. So in section 1, I want all radio buttons. In section 2, I want all my products. Control nav here, class, products. Here, some class. Here I will say options. So here I am taking a div in that label, or maybe directly we can take input type equals to radio. And here label something like all like this. Let's assume that I want 2, 3, 4, 4 options. Let's assume that electronics. Here something, some clothing. Here simply instead of that I will add men's wear. Here women's wear. If I go back here, I got here all electronic men's wear, women's wear. Now I want to show this in horizontal format. So we need to add some styles. So we can create one CSS file here, products.css. You can import that. products.css file. Now here I can select this options. I can make it display flex and justify content space evenly I will add, so that all your radio buttons will be in one row. If you want, you can decrease the width 1200 pixel and margin 100 pixel auto, I will say. Let's see how it looks. So we got like this. Instead of this, you can make it 50 pixel and here. So here we have all electronics, men's wearing, women's wearing. But right now, if you see, all the radio buttons are getting selected. I want any one radio button should get selected at a time. So what changes I have to do here? What changes I have to do, guys? So all radio buttons should not be selected, right? Any one radio button should be selected. But here all the radio buttons are getting selected. Okay. Here we have to add only common name, not ID. ID we cannot add common. So we should have name attribute with same values. For example, here I am giving like products. So for all the radio buttons, you have to add name attribute with the same value. And I want, by default, my first radio button should be checked. Right now, if you see, there is no radio button which is checked by default. So I want by default, it should be checked. Okay. Just for temporary purpose, I will do one thing. I will go to that reducers and I will make it true. So that even if you refresh, by default, you will not get that login page. Now my requirement is by default, I want this radio button should be checked. So for this, what we can do, simply we can add here checked attribute. So the moment I add checked, now see by default it is checked. Now see, there is one issue with this checked attribute. I'm selecting all. Whenever I refresh or whenever I visit home and I come back to products, by default all is selected. Fine. Now I'm trying to click on electronics. I clicked, but it is not selected. Again, if I click, it's getting selected. Again, if I click on menswear, now instead of selecting menswear, it will select all here. Now see, by default, it is selecting all. So here, checked property is not working as per expected in your React. So anybody knows, apart from this checked property attribute, can we use any other attribute? Any other attribute? I think we done this part in forms concept. Anybody knows?
Default checked.
How to use default checked. The moment you save it, now it will work fine. If I select electronic selected, Men's wearing is selected, women's wearing is selected. Again, if I come back, all will be selected. So here, all this got selected. Now my requirement is whenever this component loads, I want to display some product information here in a card format. So for that, we should have a information, which information we want to display. Okay. So that information you will get from APIs. So basically what I want to do is, let's assume that you have a backend application built on Node.js and they are maintaining some database here. They are maintaining some backend application. Now, as a front-end developer, you don't require any kind of information that what technology they are using in the backend. Whatever they are using, that doesn't make any sense for us. Whether they are using Spring Boot, Node, whatever. We just required APIs to access the data. And this APIs will be provided by your backend people, backend developer. As a front-end developer, you just require APIs. And who will provide the APIs? Your backend developer will provide the APIs. Now, what technology they are using in backend to develop that backend application, what database they are using to maintain the data or manage the data, that is none of our business. So this is your backend development done by backend developer. We require just APIs. Now let's assume that this backend developer is providing us one API to access all the products data. All products data. So he'll give us APIs in the form of URLs. He will just provide the URLs to access those APIs. Now you have a front-end application in which you have created one products component. Now, whenever this component mounts, what I want to do is, I just want to send one request to their backend application. Now, backend application will accept our request. They will connect with the database. Whatever data they have, they are going to send that data to us. Now, once we receive that data first we will add inside our Redux. We will directly not display in our component. We will add that data inside the Redux. We will add the data inside the Redux. So once the data got stored in the Redux, and then from Redux, we will access that data and we will display inside our component. Why we are going to do this? Why we are going to follow this approach means, if user is in the same session and second time, if you try to visit the same page, then instead of sending the request, we will try to get the data from Redux only. So that the performance of our application will be very, very fast. So that we can give a good user experience. So we don't want to send request for each and every time whenever user visits that page in the same session. So this part I want to do. Already we have done this part while understanding about the Redux. So here also same thing I want to implement. So what I have to do guys here now, first of all, I should have a API. So right now what I will do, I will just give you one dummy API. You can simply go to the fake store API, go to the docs, get all products information here, get this URL. So right now what I will do, here I will just create one file APIs dot txt. Okay, I will say dummy API for all products. Later on, we can replace this API. This is the API. Now you can copy this API and you can go back to your application. Now what we want to do, whenever our application mounts, we want to send a request. Now tell me here, whenever our application mounts, I want to send a request to my server. So for this, which concept we have to use?
Use effect.
Yeah, one of the ways use effect. And one more concept which we have to use to send the request to a server. So only using use effect can you send the request to a server? Or do you require one more concept so that you can work with networks calling in React JS?
XGS.
So we require Axios. So do we have Axios? So just check in your package.json. So you don't have Axios. So what you have to do now? You have to install it. So just open new terminal here. And just do npm install Axios. Okay. Now Axios got installed. Now here I can import Axios. Now we can call use effect hook. Now use effect hook will take two arguments. The first argument is one callback function and second argument is your dependencies. So based on which you want to call this callback function in your update phase. So right now my requirement is this callback function should be called only in the mount phase. I don't want to call in the update phase. In that case, you can just pass here empty array. And here right now we can go with axios.get because we want the data from server. So we can go with the axios.get. And we have to paste our URL in this string format. Now what axios.get is going to do? It returns one promise. So that promise we have to handle. So I'm just going with then and catch here. Now then we'll take one callback function. Your catch will take one callback function. Now here you will receive the data. If there is any error, you will receive that error here. Here simply I will do axios.get. Sorry, not axios.get. Here, let me do console.log of response. And here console.log of error. First, let's see whether we are able to fetch the data from server or not. Okay. Now come back here. Now let's go back to home page. Let's open our inspect. Let's go to the console tab and clear it. Now whenever I click on this products, whenever I land, nothing but whenever my component mounts, one object will be printed. Okay, that object is nothing but res. So here one object is printing. Res is nothing but one object right now. Now in this object you have a data property or results property. Let's see. So you have a data property. In that data property you have your data. So now what we have to do is, from that data property we have to access that data and we have to send that data into our Redux. So from here we have to send the data to Redux. So now this logic, instead of implementing here, can we implement this logic somewhere else? Somewhere else means not in this file. We will try to implement in some other file. So what we will do, inside this products, okay, you can create one services. You can create here a file called service.js. So let me show you here one more folder structure what people are going to follow. Now here we have created products, right? In this products we have a file which in which we have created our component, products component, and we have a CSS file. So what some people will do, they will create products folder. In that they will create some subfolder like component. They will create one subfolder called service. Okay, so in different companies, different folder structure will be followed. So we don't have any standard folder structure for React. So people will follow their own folder structure as per their convenience. So what some people will do, they will create like this components separately, pages separately, and based on requirement, they will define their components. So in pages, they will define those components which are going to represent a page, and the components which we are reusing with multiple pages, those components they will define in the components subfolder. And in this case, what they will do, they will create one services page. And inside this services folder, whatever logic or service they want to develop, they will develop here. Some people, what they will do, on the page level, they will create the folders, like for example, products page. So on products page level, they will create a folder called products. Under that, they will create components. Under that, they will create services. If this component contains any reducer, they will create that reducer here itself. Or else this component requires any action, so they will create that actions here. If this component is taking a create a reducer, they will create that reducer here. So related to products, whatever things are there, all they will maintain here itself. So product actions, product components, product reducer, product services. Or else some people will just create separate folder like here services. Now inside the services, they will create products folder, and under products, they will create product dot product service.js. For example, if they want to create any service for home, they will create one subfolder called home. Under home, again, they will create home service.js. And whatever network calls logic they want to implement, they will implement inside the services. Or if they want to do any kind of business logic, any calculation kind of logic, they will do it under the services instead of doing in the components. So inside the components file, they will always try to maintain only those code which is required for the UI part. Remaining all the JS code or any calculation code, they will move out of this file. So in the products, right now I want to do network call. So that logic they will implement in a separate file. So in products, I have service folder. Under that, I can create here one file called product service.js. Now here they will import Axios. They will create one function, const get all products, and here they will maintain that logic. They will maintain that logic. And this function they will export from here. And here, instead of importing Axios, now they can import get all products. And this get all products they will call here. Okay. Now from this product service here, we are receiving the data. So the flow is something like this, which already we have done implemented while understanding Redux. You have products component. Then you have products service. You have Axios. And then you have backend. So from our product component, we are calling service. In service, we are using Axios to send the request to backend. Now backend will give the data. Backend will give the data to Axios. Remember, it will give the data to Axios. Axios will create one promise object. It will add the data in that promise object. It will add the data in the promise object, and that promise object will be given to service.